But this is just insane to think that this boxing match potentially was a massive part of the reason he has now been detained and is going to be removed from the United States. All right, so we are back. And folks, today I have some breaking news that I never thought I would be announcing on this channel and even making a video about, but here we are. I can't even begin to tell you how random this is. And it just popped up on my Twitter, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys. As of about 30 minutes ago, there is a report out from the Department of Homeland Security that on July 2nd, ICE arrested Mexican boxer and criminal illegal alien Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He is now being processed for expedited removal from the United States. This Sinaloa cartel affiliate has an active arrest warrant in Mexico for his involvement in organized crime and trafficking firearms, ammunitions, and explosives. What the hell is going on? I don't know. We're going to get into it. The breakdown, let's go. So, like you guys know, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. just had a boxing match this Saturday against Jake Paul in the middle of Orange County, Anaheim, California, at the Honda Center. He lost that fight. He was disappointingly average in that fight. He once again showed that in big fights he tends to just kind of hang out and not really do much. I mean, again, it was a normal Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. performance. And Jake wins. Now Jake's ranked in the top 15 at cruiserweight, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Jake is not a top 15 cruiserweight by any metric of actual ranking. That's not the point of the video today. The point of the video is to figure out how in the world Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been linked with the Sinaloa cartel and is now being expedited from removal from the United States. This is insane. Okay, let's take a look at the actual department. I thought this was fake. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought this was like a fake Twitter because you never know what's real and what isn't. Here is the actual Department of Homeland Security's Twitter, and there he is. And that mugshot is insane. So we go to the website, and once again, we have this headline: DHS announces ICE arrest of Mexican boxer Sinaloa cartel affiliate. And the reason I keep saying Sinaloa cartel, that's a pretty big deal. You want to know why? Because it's El Chapo's cartel, son. Probably the most dangerous in the history of Mexico. Now, again, this man just had a boxing match on Saturday. So this is, obviously crazy. We all know that Chavez Jr. has had his history with running in with the law and drugs and other things that we're going to get into, but I did not expect this at all. Then again, I didn't really know how deep this goes. So this is from Washington. The Department of Homeland Security announced Immigration and Customs Enforcement detained prominent Mexican boxer and criminal illegal alien Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and is processing him for expedited removal from the United States. Chavez is a Mexican citizen who has an active arrest warrant in Mexico for his involvement in organized crime and trafficking firearms, ammunition, and explosives. That is crazy. We're talking about the son of the greatest Mexican boxer of all time, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., being involved in organized trafficking of ammunition, firearms, and explosives. What? In a country where the Chavez name is already pretty much untouchable from even the cartel, like anybody. Like Chavez is such a legend, no one gets around him. Why would you involve yourself with something like this? I don't know. But hold on to that organized crime because, well, matter of fact, we'll just look at it now. I didn't realize, because I did a 17-hour live stream the other day, I didn't realize that I actually knew this information already. This is me and my girlfriend, Chloe, watching the walkout of Chavez Jr. on Saturday and hearing what I think it was Todd Grisham and the DAZN announce team said about him as he's walking out. Listen. Damn.
Chavez?
Yeah, Todd just ran down
Air
Chavez.
out his dirty laundry, why don't you?
Big time. That man said he last year got arrested on a weapons charge. I didn't even know that. So again, I knew that Chavez was having issues with the law in the past and, had his drug issues. I didn't know he just got arrested on a weapons charge the year before. And I definitely didn't know that he was in some way linked to the Sinaloa cartel. But DAZN announced it on the broadcast. I don't know if that's something like it inadvertently triggered the Department of Homeland Security to be like, oh, he's in the country, we need to go get him. Or just the fight itself being in America was like part of that. But I'm pretty sure Chavez was already living in America. I don't know. But this is just insane to think that this boxing match potentially was a massive part of the reason he has now been, detained and is going to be removed from the United States on, active weapons charges. So we keep reading. In August 2023, he entered the country legally with a B2 tourist visa that was valid until February 2024. Chavez is also believed to be an affiliate of the Sinaloa cartel, a designated foreign terrorist organization. ICE arrested Chavez in Studio City, California on July 2nd. So yeah, Chavez, I guess, is living in LA. So they arrest him, and it says on April 2nd, 2024, Chavez filed application for lawful permanent resident status. Chavez's application was based on his marriage to a U.S. citizen who is connected to the Sinaloa cartel through a prior relationship with the now deceased son of the infamous cartel leader, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Chavez Jr. is married to the former wife of El Chapo's son. Oh, no, bro. Oh, God, dude. Again, I just keep thinking maybe they made a mistake. Maybe Chavez, is being mistaken for somebody else, or it's not that. I don't know how serious this is, but he has a weapons charge, and he's married. Not to say this is connected, but the lady is a U.S. citizen, but she's also the former wife of the son of the most famous cartel leader ever, potentially, in the world. I did not know any of this leading into this right now, this moment. This is crazy. On December 17th, a U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services made a referral to ICE that Chavez is an egregious public safety threat. However, in a DHS law enforcement system under Biden administration indicated Chavez was not an immigration enforcement priority. Then, on January 4th, 2025, the Biden administration allowed Chavez to re-enter the country and paroled him into the country at the San Ysidro port of entry. Following multiple fraudulent statements on his application to become a lawful permanent resident, he was determined to be in the country illegally and removable on June 27th, 2025. This is a day before his fight. So hold on. They were tracking Chavez Jr., I guess, after multiple fraudulent statements on an application for permanent lawful residentship. And then the day before he's going to fight Jake Paul, I guess they determined he's here illegally. Imagine if they found him that day or the day he was going to fight. How insane this would have been. Like, he's wrapping up, getting ready, and here comes ICE. Ice baby freaking walks in and snatches Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and dips. That would have been insane. Now, again, they get to him on July 2nd, which was yesterday at the time of recording this. So he's now been removed, but this is all, it happened super quick. This Sinaloa cartel affiliate with an active arrest warrant for trafficking guns, ammunition, and explosives was arrested by ICE. Again, I need to know where this charge is, because this is insane. How is he's trafficking into the country illegal guns, ammunition, and explosives? Does that mean like he brought them across the border, or he has illegal weaponry that they assume is not made in the United States, or they found out is not made here? How did he get charged with that? It is shocking the previous administration flagged this criminal alien as a public safety threat, but chose not to prioritize his removal and let him leave and come back into the country. Okay, so they're saying that the Biden administration said he was a public safety threat, then allowed him to leave and come back while having that information, or having that, categorization about him. Public safety threat. That's crazy. Under President Trump, no one is above the law, including world-famous athletes. Our message to any cartel affiliates in the USA is clear. We will find you and you will face consequences. The days of unchecked cartel violence are over. Yeah, I wonder how much of this, too, is like a massive name being attached in some way to the cartel. Is this like more of the DHS sending a message? Because Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is the son of a world-famous boxer. He did just fight in front of how many thousands of people watching in the Honda Center in California, and, probably hundreds, thousands, millions worldwide. Who knows? But still, he can be caught, which I guess is, again, more of a message to say, hey, you may not be this world-famous athlete, but if you have any affiliations to any cartel, we're going to catch you. Okay, so here's the rap sheet they say below. January 22nd, 2012, California Highway Patrol arrested Chavez and charged him with a DUI, alcohol and drugs, and driving without a license. He served 13 days in jail, 36 months probation. On January 14, 2023, District Judge issued an arrest warrant for Chavez for the offense of organized crime for the purpose of committing crimes of weapons trafficking and manufacturing crimes in the modality of those who participate in clandestinely bringing weapons, ammunition, cartridges, explosives into the country, and those who manufacture weapons, ammunition, cartridges, and explosive without the corresponding permit. So if this is to be believed, Chavez was sneaking weapons over the border. This is what I'm trying to gather my brain around. They're saying that he was participating in bringing weapons, ammunition, cartridges, and explosives into the country, or manufacturing weapons, ammunition, and cartridges and explosives without corresponding permits. So either he was bringing them in or manufacturing them here, or maybe both, or participating in such with the purpose of... This is nuts. Chavez Jr. is a weapons runner for the cartel. This is what I'm reading. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the extent of it is, but I am reading that he is a weapons runner for the Sinaloa cartel. I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing at the unbelievability of what I'm reading. Not because it's, you know, it's so far-fetched, but just because I'm learning it all at once here. On January 7th, 2024, the Los Angeles Police Department arrested Chavez and charged him with illegal possession of any assault weapon and manufacture or import short-barreled rifle. The court convicted Chavez of these charges. So what, he had a sawed-off shotgun? All right, folks, well, more breaking news on this story. I kind of thought I'd covered everything, but we now have footage of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. being arrested or detained or whatever the verbiage is by ICE. It just hit the web, so let's take a look at this. Again, this is in Studio City, Los Angeles, California. Oh my God. He has an MVP hat on. Oh no. Most valuable. Jeez.
You do, want me to search you? I have the gloves on if you want me to. ¿No tienes algo en sus zapatos?
No.
¿Pocillos?
Nada.
¿No tienes nada?
Mi celular aquí en la bolsa de atrás.
Aquí it has a cell.
Jeez, man.
No tienes nada contigo, ¿no? He has pockets in the front of the jacket.
Obviously, they're searching him.
Teléfono, phone.
And remember, they would, you know, they have to search him if they're arresting him too, right? But, you know, his previous charges have been weapons charges, so you just want to be careful, obviously. But again, this whole thing is insane, man. Just days ago, fighting in the main event in the Honda Center. Now being arrested by agents of ICE and soon to be deported back to Mexico, facing weapons charges from Mexico, having a gun charge here in the United States, possessing an illegal firearm, a ghost gun, I guess they're calling it. All of this happening again as I'm speaking to you guys. So the news keeps pouring in, but I had to interject and show you guys we do now have the video of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. being arrested by ICE. This is real. This is happening, and it's absolutely insane. Now let's get back into the video for more detail on what's going on. All right, so this was a report on January 9th, 2024. Because I've seen all the reports today happening, but this one was from way back in 2024. Chavez Jr. arrested for ghost gun in LA, illegal weapons possession. Chavez Jr. was arrested for illegal possession of an assault rifle this weekend in Los Angeles after cops were called to the scene by a concerned fan who believed the boxer may be a danger to himself or others. Okay, he was taken into custody by LAPD around 1:30 after Chavez Jr. permitted responding officers to enter his home where they located the illegal rifle. Law enforcement sources told us the weapon was an untraceable ghost gun. Chavez was ultimately transported to the Valley Jail in Van Nuys. All right, so let's again, I'm not familiar. Ghost gun. So this is what a ghost gun is. Ghost guns are unserialized, therefore untraceable firearms that are put together by components purchased either as a kit or separate pieces. These firearms, fully functioning guns that are as lethal as fully finished serialized firearms. These parts and kits have long been intentionally marked as unregulated and untraceable to appeal to those who seek to use them in crime. So essentially, Chavez Jr. was arrested in January 2024 with a ghost gun, an unserialized gun that was apparently a short barrel rifle. You have to think potentially, I don't know, we talking AR-15s here? We talking something even more lethal, like a fully automatic? Who knows? But then before that, you have January 14, 2023, a district judge issued an arrest warrant for Chavez for the offense of organized crime for the purpose of committing crimes of weapons trafficking and manufacturing crimes in the modality of those who participate, bringing weapons, ammunition, cartridges, and explosives into the country. So a year prior, they issued an arrest warrant for him, I guess, on suspicion of trafficking firearms, and then they find one of them a year later in his possession. This is nuts. I mean, the news is breaking as I'm recording, so I don't know how much more I'm going to get details on. But this is a rough weekend for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And then we have the Ring Magazine reporting right here. Listen, this is not just, Jake Paul fighting another boxer. He fought an organized crime member. Apparently, allegedly. I don't know, again, how close the affiliation is from Chavez Jr. to the actual Sinaloa cartel, which, again, if you don't know, one of the most famous, if not the most famous cartel in the history of Mexico. It's like overnight, we just got a backstory of Chavez Jr. I had no idea about. How long has Chavez been, again, allegedly, a weapons runner for a foreign terrorist organization? And what all does this entail? How deep does this story actually go? Because even in this article kind of lists out everything that he's been, either charged for or arrest warrants been made for or detained for, whatever. This can't tell the whole story because this has been going on apparently for the last 2 years. Close to 3 now. I feel like this is just scratching the surface. There's got to be more here, but regardless, it seems like Chavez Jr. is going to be removed from the country, and any chance of him becoming a lawful permanent resident probably has gone out the window. Any chance of him boxing here in America probably goes out the window from now on. And yeah, this is just, it's crazy. I don't know how serious this thing's going to be, but it sounds pretty serious. Sounds like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. might have had the worst 10-day stretch of luck and all of the consequences of his actions, I guess, coming to fruition at once. I don't really know, but that's probably one of the worst runs I've ever seen for 10 days in the high-level sports world, maybe ever. That's tough. And it's kind of a sad story, too, because we've always looked at Chavez Jr. as a guy that, maybe was a bit of a disappointment of a fighter because of the ability his dad had and because of the ability Junior had, and just never panned out to be what talent level he should have been in most people's eyes. But even when you have all the advantages, even when you have the upbringing, even when you have all the gifts in life to live a life that's not one of struggle or, having to do things in the criminal world because you have an upbringing that allows you to be away from it, you still get stories like this where Chavez Jr. has affiliated himself, whether loosely or very tightly, to one of the most prolific cartels in the history of mankind, in the Sinaloa cartel. And then the weapons charge and everything else. Sad story, man. We'll see what happens with this story going forward and how much of it continues to unravel. But once again, apparent affiliate of the Sinaloa cartel with an active criminal arrest warrant, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Not just son of a legend and son of the greatest Mexican boxer ever, but apparently affiliate of the Sinaloa cartel and someone with an active criminal arrest warrant, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., has been removed from the country by the Department of Homeland Security. What happens next for him? I mean, I think he's probably not going to be boxing anytime soon, but I don't have those answers, so guess we'll find out.